Hey guys, welcome to another exciting episode of Money Chat with Afsat. Today's episode is actually going to be a book review. I can't believe we've only had one book review so far on this channel. Anyways, this year I intend to be much more consistent. So if you haven't subscribed to this channel, now is the time for you to do so. We're going to be learning how to make, manage, and ultimately multiply our income because it is essential. So this book that I'm going to be reviewing today is actually a masterpiece. Should I give you a minute to guess? Well, if you said The Richest Man in Babylon, then you are correct. So we're going to be reviewing this book. It's a masterpiece. This book is value packed, right? We're going to be going through all of the chapters and I'll try as much as possible to cover everything. But you still need to read the book on your own. You need to do a lot of work on your own. So this book actually have about 11 chapters. I'll try and cover them like I said. And to start it, I want to start with this first part of the book because I love what is written here. And you will do too. So it says, ahead of you stretches your future like a road leading into the distance. Along that road are ambitions you wish to accomplish, desires you wish to gratify. To bring your ambitions and desires to fulfillment, you must be successful with money. Did you hear that? I'll take it again. To bring your ambitions and desires to fulfillment, you must be successful with money. And that's why you need to be in Money Chat with Afsat, because I'm going to be giving you tips and nuggets on how to become successful with money. To be very honest, I love this book. And we're going to be starting with the first chapter now. It's about the man who desired gold. So let's get started. Now to the first chapter, the man who desired gold. So this is a story of Bansi, a chariot builder of Babylon. So he used to build chariots for the wealthy and the rich people that could afford it. But then he slept and woke up. He had a dream whereby he saw himself very rich. But then he woke up and his reality is actually different from that, right? So he started thinking about his life, like how has he been slaving his life all these years, doing the same thing, hard labor, but he doesn't have money to show for it. So he was in this thought, a deep thinking, when his friend came around to meet him. And then he lamented to him like, we cannot keep going year after year living this slavish life, right? So we need to go and seek out how to make money. And this they can get to find out from Arkad, who happened to be the richest man in Babylon. So what this chapter is trying to say, it comes from a sense of realization and introspection, realizing that where you are is not where you ought to be, and looking for, should I say, seeking ways to make your life better. So the first chapter is quite brief, and you can cover that in a day if you want to. Now we're going to move on to the second chapter, the richest man in Babylon. So now the richest man in the old Babylon happens to be Arkad. He was a very, very rich man, and they happen to be friends actually. So Banser, the chariot maker, his friend Kobe, both went to meet Arkad. They're all colleagues to him so that he can guide them on how they can make money. So they lamented to him again. So now Arkad remonstrated with them, saying, if you have not acquired more than a bare existence since our youth, it is because you either have failed to learn the laws that govern building wealth, or else you do not observe it. So now what he's saying here is, if you don't have money, if you're not as wealthy as the way you want to be, it's either you've not learned how to make money, or you've not observed that there are ways for making money, right? So he realized it earlier on in his life, because he said, in my youth, I looked about me and saw all the good things that were to bring happiness and contentment. And I realized that wealth increased the potency of achieving all of this. With money, you can get to do all of the things that you want to do, right? You can travel whenever you want to. You can do whatever job you want to do. You can have land and all of that. He saw that and he realized that I declared to myself that I will claim my share of the good things of life. That was it. So he decided that if he wants to achieve what he desired, then he needed to dedicate time and study to learn how to make money. And so he started by what? By getting a job as a script writer. And it was at his place of work that I came to meet Algamish, who is a money lender, that started guiding and nurturing on how to make money. So now what the money lender first told him was that he cannot be spending everything that he earns. If he does that, he is not going to make money. So he said that from there, he said, I found the road to wealth when I decided that a part of all I earned was mine to keep, and so will you. So if you want to keep money, if you want to become wealthy, the first thing you need to do here, as indicated here, is you have to start by saving. You cannot be spending all of your money. So now there's this clause that said, but all I earn is mine to keep. That was what Arkad was asking the money lender that was guiding him. But the man was like, no, far from it. All you have is not yours to keep. Do you not pay the garment maker? Do you not pay the sandal maker? Do you not pay for the things that you eat? When we receive our salary, for instance, we spend money on a lot of things, several things, rental, bills, so family, everything. But did you spend on yourself? Okay, yes, maybe you bought clothes, but not that way. You also need to pay yourself a money that doesn't actually go out, right? And that is by saving. So he said, so every gold piece you save is a slave that is going to work for you also, right? So the man also told him that it's not just about saving money. It's about, shall I say, investing the money, making sure that that piece of gold that you keep also work for you. And so the man came back a month later to ask him, have you been keeping your money aside? He said, yes. What did you do with the money? It was like, I gave it to a bricklayer to help me buy jewelries. And it was like, you just wasted your money. How will you give a bricklayer to buy you jewelries? If you want to invest your money, meet somebody that is knowledgeable in that area. So what he's trying to say here is, if you want to invest in, let's say, brick making, then you can make a bricklayer to guide you. If you want to invest in gold, you should meet somebody that is into gold to guide you, because at the end of the day, he didn't realize the money. The bricklayer is not knowledgeable in buying jewelries, and he ended up buying fake, and he lost his money. But what the man said is, he should repeat that process again. He should save his money for like a year, and then he should invest it. And then he came back, let's say like 2 years later, he came to meet it, and he said, yes, he has understood and he applied that method, right? So he said, do you still take the advice of brick makers? He said, about brick making, yes, they give good advice. So now he goes to the right person whenever he needs advice. So in this brief chapter, the major thing they say here is, a part of all that you earn is yours to keep. Also, you should seek advice from someone that is knowledgeable, and also you should always seek out ways for your money, that money you save, to also generate income. But I'm also going to be ending this chapter by talking about one particular paragraph that I love. It says, enjoy life while you are here. Do not overstrain or try to save too much. If 1/10 of all you earn is as much as you can comfortably keep, be content to keep this portion. Live otherwise according to your income, and let not yourself get niggardly and afraid to spend. Life is good and life is rich, with things worthwhile and things to enjoy. You see, the thing about this chapter is, in just this paragraph, it talks about balance. Some people are extreme in the sense that they will save the money, they are too afraid to spend it. And some people will spend, they are too afraid to save money. You need to find a balance and find a way to maintain both, so that you save, you also spend, because at the end of the day, life is one. Moving on to the third chapter. So yeah, it's about 7 cures for a lean purse. I actually love this chapter. So yeah, in the city of Babylon, the king was bothered that the economy isn't really, should I say, progressing. His people do not have money. Despite all the investment he has done in the city, he has made a lot of expenditure, improvement. He expected his people to have money, but they did not have. So it's more like they don't know how to retain those coins, how to retain those gold that is investing into the economy. And so it was like, let's find a way to empower the citizens so that they can know how to make money. And guess who they consulted again? You guessed right, Arkad, who happened to be the wealthiest man in the country. So the king, they gathered a group of men, let's say about 100 men, and then every day Arkad taught them 7 cures for a lean purse. Now, to the first cure is, start thy purse to fattening. So now what this is talking about is, you need to start setting aside money from whatever that it is that you're earning. Regardless of your place of work, how much you're earning, today you need to start making your purse fatten. If you earn 10 naira, keep 1 naira. So he spoke about how you can start small. You can start by setting aside 1/10 of your income, regardless of where it is that you are. Because for instance, Today you earn 10 naira, you spend everything. Tomorrow you do the same thing. Next tomorrow you do the same thing. At the end of the day, you do not have money. But if today you have 10 naira, you keep one aside. Tomorrow you have 10 naira, you keep another one aside. Now, how many do you have aside? 2. Now your purse begins to jingles. According to, yes, because there they use coins, and yes. So that's how you start making your purse weigh something. And I can actually attest to that. Now that I spend coins, right? There's a lot of coins in my bag that keeps jingling. So you need to start that purse to fattening, regardless of where you are in your current circumstances. And now this brings us to the second cure. Control thy expenditures. So how can a man keep 1/10 of all he earns in his purse when all the coins he earns are not enough for his necessary expenses? I know you're about to ask me that. Yes, you said, my money is not even enough for me to survive. How am I supposed to keep? And that is why he answers that by saying you need to learn to control your expenditures. This is him talking about budgeting. I also say the budget. It's not easy, but with a budget, you are going to arrange your expenses and ensure that everything you spend your money on is reasonable, it is rational. So he says this: what each of us call our necessary expenses will always grow to equal our income unless we protest to the contrary. And that is true. If your income should increase today, your expense will grow and reach it immediately. Lifestyle inflation. So you need to, except to say no, my expense should come below, you will force it to come below. If you do not do that, see, it will go above, self, you will run into debt. So a budget will help you do that. But a lot of people say budget is restricting. I cannot do. Are you not the one that is going to create your budget yourself? You are. You are the one that is going to define what you want to spend your money. You're going to be the one to identify what is priority for you, what you want to do now, what you want to do later. So the purpose of a budget is to help your purse to become fattening. It will assist you to have your necessities insofar as attainable your other desires, right? So your budget is going to ensure that you cover your necessities and some of your desires. Your desires is inexhaustible, so you need to learn to pick some and let some go. Now the third cure is to learn how to make your gold multiply. So what this is talking about is investment. So after keeping your money saved up for years or months, you need to put it into something where you can invest. For instance, here he gave an example about a farmer who went to a money lender and gave him the money that, you know what, I want to invest this money for my son. 20 years later, he went back to the money lender. The money lender told him that his money has compounded. It's now from one coin, if I'm not mistaken, it's about 31 and a half pieces. And the farmer was like, you know what, keep it there again. And then 50 years later, after the farmer has passed away, his son, the money lender went to give the money was transferred back to his son, and it has multiplied, I think almost 17 times. So investment, from here you can tell that investment is long term and your money is going to compound. That's the way you can recoup it. So now the fourth lesson here is guide that treasures from loss. So now this is talking about wise investment. Don't go and put your money in MMM or all your money in Bitcoin, right? Don't put all your investment also in one basket. And that is why I always advocate, if you want to start investing, you can start with low form investment. But regardless, just make sure that your principal is safe and also you can get return from it. So guide your treasures from loss. Don't go and make a wrong investment and then you will have to start afresh again. So now the fifth cure is make of thy dwelling a profitable investment. So yeah, what he was trying to talk about here is the fact that try as much as possible to own your own home. So what he was saying is advocating against, let's say you paying rent every year you are paying rent. Instead, if possible, you can maybe through mortgage, you can get your house, and then every year you are going to be paying, you are adding to the down payment, you are reducing the liability, because at the end of the day, after the payment, maybe 10 years or 20 years, the house becomes yours. If you want, you can rent it later or something, or you can transfer it. But if possible, try to remove the burden of making yearly rental payments for your home. The sixth cure is to ensure your future income. So yeah, I spoke about the importance of insurance and pension, because you don't know what the future holds, right? You need to save your future. And the seventh cure is you should increase your ability to earn. I can't emphasize on this enough. It's not just about earning money, it's about upskilling. Find a way to make more money, because the more money you make, the more you can save aside, set aside, the more you can invest, the faster it takes you to build wealth. So you say, this is the process by which wealth is accumulated. So you can start small and then in larger ones as a man learns to become more capable. So this chapter covers 7 cures for a lean purse. I hope you take all of them. You took note of all of that. Now, moving on to chapter 4. The chapter 4 is about the goddess of good luck. So this chapter is just talking about gambling and gamblers. So yes, there are a lot of gamblers out there. We know that. We should accept that, right? But the thing is, you're going there because you expect luck, the goddess of good luck, to meet you there. She turn the tide and then you should win jackpot. Wow. What's the chances of this? Maybe 1 in 100 or so. So the chapter is about the goddess of good luck and saying the goddess of good luck will only come where the chances of you winning is high. And for example, in a business, in a profitable business, the chances of you making a huge sales once in a month is very high. For instance, some people, maybe you have businesses and then you go for a trade fair. You might go for a trade fair this month. You might not make a lot of money, but then you go for a participate in the trade fair another month and you make an outrageous sum of money. But the thing is, at the end of the day, whether it's month 1 or month 2, you will make money. You will make money in this business as far as you're using the right thing. So the goddess of good luck will always be there where you are in a profitable business or a profitable occupation. You are going to find it. But the goddess of good luck is not going to be at a gambling spot, because that is the business of the owner of the gambling place. So it's always going to be in favor of that person, the owner of the business. So if you keep staking, if you keep betting, it's the owner that is making more money. Before the dice is going to roll in favor of you, it's going to take forever. So do not expect a good luck, or do not expect to make wealth from those kind of means. For instance, even if you win the lottery, a lot of people that have won the lottery, I don't know if you check online, I'm not sure if there's a particular billionaire that became who he is from winning lottery. I doubt if it is. Do not expect to meet the goddess of good luck through gambling. And now the next chapter talks about 5 laws of gold. So now he gave a story about a wealthy man, but he didn't just want to transfer his wealth to his son. Instead, he gave his son gold, and he also gave him 5 laws of gold written on a tablet. Like, he gave him money and told him how to manage the money. But everybody now, you jump on the money. So he spent the money. He told him to go, and then after 10 years, he should come back. He should have multiplied the money, then come back. If he's capable of doing that, he's going to pass down his wealth to him. Something around that. So the guy went and he lost the money because he didn't look at the manual or the money guide. He didn't look at that at all. He just kept on spending. It was later when he retraced his steps and decided to, let me even go through this. And that was where he found the 5 laws of gold. And I'm going to briefly walk through those laws. So the first one is gold comes gladly to whoever knows how to save money. So if you always keep if you always keep part of what you earn, gold is going to keep coming to you're going to be able to make more money. Now, gold also comes to those who find profitable ways to invest their money. Gold also, the third one is gold clingeth to the protection of the courteous owner who invests it under the advice of wise men. So if you invest your money based on wise advices from verified or certified investment advisors, they guide you properly, you know how to invest your money wisely. Now, gold also slippeth away from a man who invests it into unprofitable business or into unfamiliar businesses, into risky ventures. And then finally, gold flees away from a man who will force it to impossible earning. So what this is talking about is gold flees away from a man who gambles, who put it in very, very risky, extremely risky ventures. Gold is most likely going to run away from. So now we're going to move on to chapter 6, the gold lender of Babylon. So yeah, it's talk about a man that was given 50 pieces of gold by their king. So he did something and then the king rewarded it with the gold. But then he didn't know how he was going to spend the money. He needed to find a way to make the most of that money. And then so he went to meet the lender, gold lender in Babylon, more like a borrower that they had in the city. And then the man advised him. So part of the thing that took him there was he had a sister. His brother-in-law needed him to borrow him that money because now he had money. Everyone was coming to meet him that come and borrow me money, come and borrow me money. But he didn't want to give out his money unwisely. So he went to meet a money lender to guide him. So now the money lender now advised him that you need to understand who you are giving your money to or whatever investment you are using your money for. So you need to draw a line so that he said something here. If thou desire to help a friend, do so in a way that it will not bring the friend's burden upon yourself. So now most of you that used to say, I have friends that used to ask me for money, I have to give them money, I cannot say no. Keep saying yes. Keep saying yes. Carry all their burden, put it on your own head, so that at the end of the day, it's you that will go back to them and say, come and give me urgent 2K. You need to be wise. If you're a borrower, you should be wise about it. Know how to give people money. Give people that can afford to pay you back money. And if you're going to help wisely. Help somebody that you know is actually in need, and don't make it a habit of helping. They will keep becoming dependent on you and all of that. So also, now back to you as a borrower. Now that you that want to borrow money also spoke about you or me, right? So it was like series of stories. So if you go through the chapter, you're going to read and understand it better. So series of stories. So yeah, it spoke about a man that transferred his wealth to his son, and then the son mismanaged the money and all of that. The enterprise collapsed. Why? Because they say youth is ambitious. Youth will take shortcut to wealth and the desirable things for which it stands. To secure wealth quickly, youth often borrows unwisely. We want to make money too fast. We'll go and enter basic. You cannot repay back the debt. So you need to be very cautious. Whether you're a borrower or you're the one borrowing money, you need to be very, very cautious so that you don't take on somebody's debt and then end up regretting. So it's end with a statement here. Better a little caution than a great regret. Now, moving on to the next chapter, it talks about the wall of Babylon. So if you've read about Babylon, I think they used to, like, there was a war that happened, but then they overcame it because they had walls, like huge walls that was built around in front of the city. I don't know that story. You can go and check it out yourself, right? So that wall was what protected that city and made it not fall or made it, get captured, right? So now what he's saying here in this chapter is you also, it is your responsibility to protect your wealth. Try as much as possible to protect your wealth. If you are building money, if you're getting better, learn how to protect your money. Through what? Through insurance. Through by diversifying your income. Just put in measures that will make sure you still stay wealthy. I've read in some other books about how some wealthy people or people went from being just wealthy to extremely poor because of what? They went to put their money in places that they are not supposed to do. They took on uncalculated risk, and at the end of the day, they lost the money. So it's your responsibility to guard your money as much as possible. We cannot afford to be without adequate protection. Now to the next chapter is about the camel trader of Babylon. So this one now is about another story. And now let me start with the opening paragraph. It says, the hungrier one becomes, the clearer one mind works. Also, the more sensitive one becomes to the order of food. I love this chapter, right? So this one is about somebody that was very, very broke, and then he met the camel trader of Babylon, who now narrated the story to him. He was like, I used to be a slave. I was never a camel trader. And then he gave him a story about how he was, when he was young, he was in so much debt, and then he had to leave the town. In fact, he told his wife to go back to her father's house. He had to leave the city. And then before you know, he joined a gang of armed robbers. He was stealing. And then at the end of the day, he got caught as a slave. And where he was working, one of the owner's wife pick interest in him because it was different. He used to tend to our camels, yes. So he learned the skill of tending to camels. He used to tend to our camels, but she saw the way it was different. He didn't look like somebody that was a slave. And that was because originally he was never a slave. And then she found a way to like free him. And then she freed him with camel and then food that got finished. He found himself in a desert, like he was extremely hungry, and then he had to think, right? He had to think. And then it was during that period he gained clarity. He was like, he can't just give up here. Like, why is he going to just stay in the desert and die, and then animals will feast on his body and stuff like that? Like, it was like, no, this cannot be the end of the road. And that was when it dawned on him that at the end of the day, the people he borrowed money from are not his enemies. It's the debt that is his enemy. So he needs to go back to his city and go and face his enemy. And yeah, there's a part here that says, where the determination is, the way can be found. He said, I now had the determination, so I set out to find a way. First, I visited every man to whom I was indebted and begged their his indulgence until I could earn that with which to repay. And some of them even helped him. So if you read the storyline, you're going to enjoy it. He went back to people he was owing money. He told them, you know what, give me 1 year, give me several months. I'll be paying you every month. Some of them helped him. And because he was skilled, he had a skill during that period when he was in slavery. He learned how to, shall I say, tend for camels. He was a camel trader, and so he met a lender that gave him money. He started a business. Like, he was determined to do better. He retraced his steps. So regardless of where you are, you need to maybe probably retrace your steps, find out what you need to do to improve. If you are in debt, find a way to pay up your debt. Do it, be intentional about moving forward. And then about that first paragraph that talked about the hungrier one because the clever one mind works. See, I can relate to that. See, one of my brokest moments at the time that I think the most, at the time that I became the most creative. It is not funny. So try go hungry for a while, or take a risk, right? At times you find yourself in a situation you are not prepared for, and it's in that situation that you will gain clarity, that you realize that you need to do better, or you can do better, or life doesn't have to be this way. I've experienced that. I've been in similar situation. And to be honest, in fact, that was the moment, or that was the phase where I found content creation. And here I am. So the next chapter is about the clay tablets from Babylon. So this is years later when Babylon was no longer existing. And then they went there and then to find, this treasure hunters and all of that. So they went there and then they found some clay tablets in Babylon, and they had it delivered to a school. So it was in that school the teacher found it and went through the tablet and found several advices that came in very handy, because that teacher also was going through, shall I say, that professor was also going through some phase with her finances. And then she took on the advices that was written in the tablet. She followed it and it improved her financial situation. So this chapter is like a follow-up to the previous chapter about the man that went back to his city and needed to pay back his debt, right? So on this clay tablet that was found, there were about 5 stuff that was written on it. And it was more like the first tablet was the plan that the man wrote down about how he was going to pay back his debt, like his intention, his desire. He made it written, his intentionality, he put it down on written note that, okay, I'm going to pay back all my debt over the next, let's say, few years. In the second tablet, it spoke about how he went to meet all of therefore, each time the moon is full, 2/10 of all I have earned shall be divided honorably. So here he put like a sharing formula of how he was going to be paying back his debt. On the third tablet, he spoke about how he visited his creditors and explained to them that I have no resources with which to repay except my ability to earn, and that I intend to apply 2/10 of all I earn upon my indebtedness evenly and honestly. So on the third tablet, he spoke about how he went to reach out to these people he was owing money and make them understand that I cannot pay immediately, but I'm going to be paying you gradually. He tried to be as honest and as transparent as possible. So if you are going through maybe extreme debt, this is a strategy that you can adopt. In the fourth tablet, he talked about how he started dividing the money according to his plan. So every month when he made money, maybe 10%, he give this person 10%, 5%. He did that. He covered his necessities and he also gave them, he paid off his debt. So that was what he kept doing. He repeated this for about 12 months. He said, again, the moon shines full, and I remember this is the long that it has been long since I carved upon the clay. Now 12 months in truth have come and gone. By this day, I will not neglect my record. And he wrote down the fact that he made his final visit to his creditors in the 12th month. So gradually, because he had clear direction, he mapped out his repayment plan, he followed it religiously, and he was able to pay up his debts. And so, like I said, it was a professor that found it, the person adopted it, and it worked for the person. So if you adopt it too, there's a high chance it's going to work for you. It's very, very practical. Now to the 10th chapter, spoke about the luckiest man in Babylon. This one too is also like a story, right? About how this person became wealthy. So this chapter spoke about the importance or the benefit of acknowledging our source of income, which is your workplace. For instance, a lot of us work and we feel like this is too stressful. I don't like work. I don't want to show up at work. But then the person here in the story says, I like to work and I like to do good work, for work is the best friend that I have ever known. So he spoke about like the fact that he has come to accept his workplace because that is the source of income. When he works very well, he's going to be able to earn money and live life on his terms, right? So we might not really like work, but we need to understand the fact that we are doing this for a reason. See the purpose, see the end goal, see the benefit. Just use that to motivate yourself and keep showing up. See, there is so much to learn in this book. I tried as much as possible to cover every bit of it, and I am sure this video, that's why this video is so long, right? So there is so much in this book to learn. So in fact, you can send me a message and I can help you get the soft copy of the book. I really like it. Now, the last chapter is an historical sketch of Babylon. It spoke so much about, it gave a bit about the history of, more information about Babylon. But now this is a paragraph here that I cited, that Babylon is an outstanding example of a man's ability to achieve great things, using whatever means at his disposal. And that is one thing I am a big fan on. It's about maximizing the most of your income with what you currently have. Stop looking at what you do not have. Start small. Start with what you have. We are all starting that way. Try as much as possible that whatever you're spending, it is for reasonable purposes. It's going to give you forward. Save as much as possible. Invest in your self, upskill. Find a way to increase your earning capacity and multiply your income. So this is it. So look forward to the next episode. I don't want to say the book that we're going to be reviewing, but you might want to take a guess, right? So it's something similar. You might want to take a guess. Drop it in the comment section. So also I'm going to be ending by giving a short story. So you see this book, actually my dad bought this book for me when I was in, I think, JSS3. Two of this book, The Richest Man in Babylon and Rich Dad Poor Dad. It got me those two books, but not for once did I read that book. Afusa, I did not read that book. But now see me years later, reading it. Even Rich Dad Poor Dad, I ended up reading it, although I don't have that hard copy now. I ended up reading. I wish I did be I know. I would have read this book earlier, but then I found my way back to it. I read it. I think I've read it like twice now. I love this book. You might want to consider getting an hard copy so that you can read. By reading this book, you expose yourself to more money lessons, and who knows, we might have a book club where we can have more conversations and discussions and deliberations about this book. Let me know what you think. So make sure to subscribe to my channel, and I look forward to seeing you on the next episode. Bye.